years ago, the great British explorer George Mallory, who was to die on Mount Everest, was asked why did he want to climb it. He said, because it is there. Well, space is there, and we're going to climb it.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
We ask God's blessing on the most hazardous and dangerous and greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Apollo 11 is a 2019 American documentary film edited, produced, and directed by Todd Douglas Miller. It focuses on the 1969 Apollo 11 mission, the first spaceflight from which men walked on the moon. The film consists solely of archival footage, including 70mm previously unreleased to the public, and does not feature narration, interviews, or modern recreations. The Saturn V rocket Apollo crew, consisting of Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Michael Collins, and the Apollo program Earth-based support staff are prominently featured in the film. The film premiered at the Sundance Film Festival on January 24, 2019, and was released theatrically in the United States by Neon Film Distribution Company on March 1st, 2019. Apollo 11 has received acclaim from critics and grossed $10 million. The people in this film are not actors, okay? So this archival footage, the people in here are 100% the real deal. This film is rated G and would be great for any age. The people I think it'd be great for is the people who think that the moon landing was faked, which was not. So if you're one of those people out there who think it was all a hoax, pick up a history book or watch this documentary, and you'll find out that it wasn't a hoax. It was real. Also, this would be good to show high schoolers, maybe middle schoolers, like world or U.S. history. This would be a great documentary to watch. Again, the film is rated G and would be great for any age. The film has a runtime of 1 hour and 33 minutes. This film is very accurate. However, the film takes some liberties with the timeline of the mission. For example, the incident involving Buzz Aldrin's biomed sensors going out, leading him to wisecrack, "I promise to let you know if I stop breathing," occurred during the return voyage on day 8 of the mission, but is depicted as happening during the approach to the moon before the separation of the command and lunar modules. As far as the production goes, CNN Films approached director Todd Douglas Miller in 2016 to make a film for the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing. At that time, Miller was just completing a project called The Last Steps, a documentary about Apollo 17. Miller's conception of the film was centered on a direct cinema approach. The final film contains no voiceover narration or interviews beyond what was available in the contemporary source material, similar to the 2010 documentary Senna. In May 2017, cooperation between Miller's production team, NASA, and the National Archives and Records Administration resulted in the discovery of unreleased 70mm footage from the launch and recovery of the Apollo 11. The large format footage includes scenes from the Launch Complex 39, spectators present for the launch of the Saturn V rocket, the recovery of astronauts Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Michael Collins, and the Apollo 11 command module. The post-mission efforts aboard the USS Hornet is included in that as well. The documentary included this footage alongside conventional footage from 35 and 16mm film, still photography, and closed-circuit television footage. So Miller's team used the facilities and Final Frame, a post-production firm in New York City, to make a high-resolution digital scans of all the available footage that they found. Specialized climate control vans were used to safely transport the archival material to and from the National Archives in Washington, D.C. To where they were going to be worked on for the film. The production team cataloged over 11,000 hours of audio recordings and hundreds of hours of video. Man, think about what a project that must have been. But it was probably a rewarding project. I would think something like that would be. For me, it'd be very rewarding to work on something like that. Among the audio recordings were 30 track tapes of voice recordings at every mission control station. Ben Feist, a Canadian software engineer, wrote software to improve the fidelity of the newly available audio. British archivist and film editor Stephen Slater, who had synchronized audio recordings with 16mm mission control footage in earlier projects, performed the task of synchronizing the audio and the film. The production team was able to identify Mother Country, a song by folk musician John Stewart, in the Lunar Module voice recordings. The song was subsequently featured in the film. The Neon Company acquired worldwide theatrical distribution rights to the film in July 2018. In 2019, an edited version of the film was cut down to 45 minutes for the exhibition in museum IMAX theaters and was released with the title Apollo 11 First Steps. So the world premiere of Apollo 11 took place in Salt Lake City at the Sundance Film Festival on July 24th, 2019. It was given a limited release in the United States on March 1st, 2019 in IMAX through Neon, and will be released in other countries, mainly the United Kingdom, on June 28th, 2019 through the Universal Pictures company. I'm going to stop there for just a second because I'm going to say I remember seeing trailers of this film, and I really wanted to see it in theaters. And the closest place they were playing it here in Texas was Houston. They didn't come to San Angelo they didn't bring it to San Angelo for people to see, which was I was real bummed about. But I didn't want to travel 5 or 6 hours away just to go see a film, so I had to wait for the DVD release. So but once I watched it, it would have been awesome to see in theaters. Maybe one day, maybe for the 100th anniversary, if I'm still alive, maybe they'll bring it back to theaters. We'll see. Universal Pictures released Apollo 11 in the United States on digital download, DVD, and Blu-ray on May 14th, 2019. The discs have 2 extra features: a 3-minute featurette titled Apollo 11, Discovering the 65mm, and a theatrical trailer. As far as its box office performance, in its opening weekend, Apollo 11 grossed $1.6 million from 120 IMAX theaters, finishing 15th at the box office. In its second weekend, the film gave up most of its IMAX venues to newcomer Captain Marvel, but played in a total of 405 traditional theaters and made $1.3 million, finishing 10th at the box office. It continued to hold on and do well in its third weekend, grossing $1.2 million from 588 theaters, which was just a 2% drop. So sounds like it did pretty well, even with the competition of a Marvel Cinematic Universe film like Captain Marvel. It still held its own, which I'm glad it did, because this is history of the United States, history of the world. And something that we don't need to forget. As far as critical response goes, upon its premiere at the 2019 Sundance Film Festival, the film was acclaimed by critics who mostly praised the quality of the film's footage, and Rotten Tomatoes reported that 99% of critics had given the film a positive review based on 147 reviews. So looks like overall, as far as theaters and Blu-ray and DVD, it did pretty well, and even on digital downloads. So I don't have this film yet. I plan to probably go get it, not right away, but it's one that I want to keep in my collection, just because this is part of our history. Okay, guys, so my final grade for this documentary film: it was well done, well executed, well put together. and it's just, like I said, it's a part of our history. It's part of the United States history and part of world history, and in my view. So for all the work that went into it, it's a great looking film, beautiful looking film. And I enjoyed every minute of it. So my final grade for this film, it gets an A+ from me. So Apollo 11, for their accomplishments, A+, and for the film, A+. So yeah, USA. So that's all I have for today, guys. Thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, go down to the bottom, click the subscribe button, give me some great comments. Make sure to hit the like button as well. And yeah, so God bless you, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.
We shall send to the moon, 240,000 miles away, a giant rocket more than 300 feet tall on an untried mission to an unknown celestial body, and then return it safely to Earth. But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why 35 years ago fly the Atlantic? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone. And therefore, as we set sail, we ask God's blessing on the most hazardous and dangerous and greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked.